Hey, welcome to the video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing how I make my galvanous handles. The galvanous is the first full balisong that I ever brought to market, and figuring out how to fixture and machine the handles was a lot of work, especially for someone who had never machined something like this before. So I'm going to go through some of the process I use for machining the handles. These are the handles that I'm going to be machining. You can see basically what they look like on the knife above them, but these are the raw handles. I machine them in 2 operations to make things pretty easy, and then I tumble them before I get them anodized. This is the material I make the handles out of and what I fixture in my pallet. This is my pallet that I use to make the handles, and they do both the first and second operations on one pallet. I have 2 of these, and I change them out on my Pearson pallet system so I have more efficiency. Here you can see what the stock looks like in the pallet. I do 3 at a time, and I try to keep it on the edges, so when I use the slitting saw, it takes up the least amount of pallet space possible so I can get the most fixtured on here. I could technically get a 7th handle fixtured, but if I'm doing odd numbers, it doesn't make any sense because you can only machine and pallet even numbers, so it made no sense to add another handle. Now that the handles have been loaded on the pallet, it's time to go ahead and load the pallet system into the mill, which definitely hasn't been running production all day, and this video definitely wasn't because I forgot to record it. I'm going to be trying a slightly different version of a time lapse. Instead of going through the entire time lapse with the camera super sped up, I'm going to be going through normal speeds and just skipping kind of through operations so you see what's going on, but I have time to clean the camera in between each operation and you'll understand what's going on. So let me know if you prefer this style of time lapse or the others, and so go ahead and enjoy the rest of this. Now that the handles have been finished, I think they could use a little bit of work. They're almost at peak performance, but there's just a little something I can't put my finger on that's inhibiting the performance of these handles. Although they work very well, I think there's one more thing that we could do to make them a little better. Probably a small little thing. I'm not totally sure what it is yet, so I'll let you know when I figure that out. So in order to do the little bit of work I want to do on these handles to get them to peak performance, I have to take them apart. And I started to realize that there's actually not a good way to take these apart because there's no hole on the other side to push the pin out of. So I got a little scared. After some percussive maintenance, I was able to get one on the handles free, and so I went ahead and just repeated the other step on the other handle. Now that I've gotten the handles out of the knife, I'm gonna go ahead and put them in this other part of the pallet that I made for some reason. And I think that'll help improve the feeling of the overall handles. And I think what I'm gonna do to help fix them is just shave a little bit of that top hat off. I feel it's a little too bulky for the rest of the knife. I think it would probably feel a little better if that was a little smaller. Maybe not remove it completely, make it really thin so it's easy to cut yourself on or something like that. Now that the pallet's loaded up, let's see what happens in the mill. I'm not totally sure what's going to happen to those one with the top hats, but I guess we'll see. So those little spots worked really well to hold those handles. Still not totally sure why those are there, but they worked really well and held the handles in pretty securely while the mill took a little more than I wanted off that top hat. I was hoping to have some left and so it'd be nice and ergonomic and have lots of grip, but it got completely removed for some reason, and now the handles are symmetrical, which is quite a shame. I was hoping to have that. But yeah, I guess CNC machines kind of just do what they want, and they don't do it all what was programmed. You can see here what the handle looks like. There's a little burr on that end, but I'll take that off and tumble these. I have an operation for using a up and undercut chamfer mill, but I don't have any 5/16 ER collets, and so I can't actually use it. And I haven't ordered it. I bought the expensive end mill and then didn't order a cheap ER collet. So I have to sit here and manually deburr everything because for some reason I haven't ordered that. After the manual deburring, I take a bit of Scotch-Brite and I just take any hard edges or any slight burrs that were on it off. And you can see it's a very quick process that I do to each handle just to make sure that nothing is even sort of uncomfortable. And then I go ahead and throw them in the tumbler, which goes ahead and rounds any other hard edges and makes them much smoother and nicer. These are some handles that I've had anodized previously. I don't do my own anodizing anymore. I have someone else do them. And so here you can see what the handles will look like after. If you made it this far and you enjoyed the video, you can check out how I made the blades and also consider liking and subscribing. Thanks.